Read the passage from an environmental science textbook. You will have 45 seconds to read the passage. Begin reading now. Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic in an environmental science class.
So, one example of this is the macaw, the great green macaw. Now, the great green macaw is a beautiful bird, a fairly large-sized parrot known for its colorful feathers. Gorgeous green feathers with some red and blue feathers too. The macaw lives in the South American rainforest, in a part of the rainforest where a lot of trees had been cut down, trees that the macaw relies on for its food and nesting. So, the macaw was in trouble. And, of course, along with the trees, a lot of other animals were in trouble too. Lots of birds, bats, and frogs also lived in these trees. So, when the trees were cut down and cleared away, these animals also didn't have a place to live anymore, and their populations drastically declined. So, what a concerned group of people in the area did was they started spreading the word about how the macaw, this really beautiful bird, needed help. They made little books with information about the macaw, with pictures, full-colored pictures of the macaw that showed off its beautiful feathers. And they passed out these little books, these informational brochures. They distributed them to people in schools and community centers in the area. And a lot of people responded. They contributed money and helped the group set up some protected land, a special area where no one could cut down the trees, so the macaw would be safe. And the macaw's population started to increase, and other birds and bats and frogs came back to the area too. Their numbers increased along with the trees.
Using the example of the macaw from the lecture, explain the concept of a flagship species.
Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Number 5. In this question, you will listen to a conversation. Listen briefly. Number 6. Listen to part of a lecture in a literature class.
Authors of fiction, short stories and novels, of course have many decisions to make when they are writing their works. One of those decisions is how they are going to narrate or tell the story, what perspective or what point of view the story will be told from. So authors need to choose a type of narrator, some person or voice to tell the story, and this narrator can affect the reader's experience when they read a story. Now, the author might choose to have an objective narrator. An objective narrator can describe what people, the characters in a story, what they do and what they say, but that's about all. So, suppose we have a story, for example, that is about a man and woman about to take a trip. When a story is told by an objective narrator, the only information that we get as readers is what the characters say to each other, what they do. They get on the train, they sit down, they look out the window, that's all. And this leaves questions that force the reader to interpret the events, to fill in information, and decide what the character's conversation and actions might mean. Another kind of narrator an author might use is an omniscient narrator. In this case, the narrator, the voice that is telling the story, knows everything, and I mean everything about the characters. So let's imagine our same man and woman traveling, but described by an omniscient narrator. Not only do we, the readers, know what they do and say, but we also know what they're thinking. For example, we are told that the couple is going to visit an old friend of the man's, and we learn what the man is thinking, that he is nervous because he hasn't seen his friend in a long time, that he is worried if his wife will like the friend. So an omniscient narrator provides more information and answers questions that the reader might have about the characters or the action.
Using the examples from the lecture, discuss 2 types of narrators that an author of fiction might use.
Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.